many communities are impacted today by AIDS, but in the late 70s and early 80s in San Francisco, the community that was hit early and hard was San Francisco's gay community. People watched Friends go from vibrant to emaciated in a matter of weeks, and then they were gone. It's believed that at the height of the AIDS epidemic in San Francisco, about half of San Francisco's gay men were dying. Now, there was a group of friends who were together one night, sitting around a table, just feeling like they needed a place that they could mourn the loss they had experienced, to grieve, and there wasn't really a natural space that this was happening in San Francisco yet. Among those people were a couple of landscape architects, and they had an idea. Now, it's hard to imagine at the time, but this 7 acres of Golden Gate Park was pretty neglected. It was kind of the place in the park where people would, if they had cleared out land elsewhere or done some work, they would kind of like dump the organic matter over here to just kind of decompose. It was really swampy. There were a lot of downed trees and logs and briars. It was not at all a destination that anyone would come to in the park. So this group of friends went to the San Francisco city supervisors and said, if you deed us this 7 acres, we will take care of the rest. We will transform this into a space and you won't have to do anything. The supervisors said, sounds good, go for it. And in 1991, the work to transform this space began. I like to mention everything that you'll see today was done by volunteers. The organizers of the Grove didn't want to siphon off any funds from other AIDS organizations that were doing really important work as well. So all the plants that you see were donated, all of the muscle and sweat and tears and blood that would have gone into this space were done by volunteers, and even the concepts and design that you see is all volunteer created. One other thing to mention is that this is a living memorial. It was designed to kind of remind us of the cycle of life and death. So if you come to the Grove at different seasons, it'll be a very different experience. You're getting the fall experience today, but I definitely encourage you to come back in the spring, the summer, and the winter and see it in all its different iterations. Today is a walking tour, so you'll be paired up with guides who I'll introduce you to in just a minute, but it's also very much performance. There's a lot of performance elements that you'll encounter in the garden today. So during those moments, just try to, the idea behind today was to give you some moments to reflect, to kind of soak in what you've learned, to really enjoy the space while people are performing.
1987, AIDS activist Cleve Jones created the first panel of the AIDS Memorial Quilt to honor his friend. The quilt panels are 3 feet wide by 6 feet long, the size and shape of a typical grave plot. Gert McMullen, the AIDS Quilt Conservator and one of the Grove's founders, got involved because so many of her friends were dying. So Gert said, I needed some place to put my energies that didn't involve going to hospitals, because I was going to hospitals all the time visiting people. I needed to do something that was in action, and now I know how to sew, end quote. Gert has made 200 panels to honor lives lost and has helped countless others sew theirs. This is the engraving that is dedicated to Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi usually comes typically at least once a year. She is still a big part of the National AIDS Memorial. And so she came this year and is typically honored for the work she'd done, especially she was the one who got its national identification as a national memorial.
People also honor their loved ones here at the Grove with living plants. Ashes have also been scattered and mixed in the trees, and trees have also been planted for loved ones. Yesterday, we actually had someone who works for the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. His name is Vince, and he was kind enough to share that his partner has a tree here planted at the Grove. But a few things to look out for as we move into the space are circles. They're a big theme in the Grove. As we walk, notice that many hardscape features are circles that are incomplete or broken. Imperfection is a reoccurring visual theme in the Grove. Tom Jensen, an early volunteer whose partner died of AIDS, said, quote, one of the metaphorical themes the founders wanted to build was an experience of light and darkness into light, because that's the cycle of life. circle of friends. This circle is dedicated to the people whose lives have been touched by AIDS, those who have died, and those who are living with AIDS, and those who have also lost loved ones. We're going to see the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence in the circle. They are a protest and street performance order of queer and trans nuns. They use humor and wit to expose the forces of bigotry and guilt. The sisters staged some of the earliest attempts to bring the nation's attention to AIDS. In 1982, the sisters worked with medical professionals to create Playfair, the first safer sex pamphlet to use plain language, practical advice, and humor. At the 1986 Castro Street Fair, the sisters held a safer sex education booth that featured pie throwing with the slogan, "Cream your sister, not your lover."
Isis Astarte Diana, Hecate Demeter, Kali, Inanna. Hello everyone and welcome. Hello. We are here to recruit you into participating in a slight ritual today. As part of the ritual, is anyone be bothered by the burning of some sage? No. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to start off by having everyone please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. Ground your feet. Listen to the sights, sounds, smells in the air.
With sage and fire, we purify this space. Negative energy we now erase. May peace and light, harmony and love cleanse and shield this sacred grove.
By power of earth and cleansing flow, we banish ill that light may grow. We purify and claim this space for peace, for joy, for love's embrace.
For those of you who don't know who the sisters are, we have some little zines here if you would like them to have a little story about who we are.
Today we're inscribing the names of the people that we've lost, friends, family, our sisters and saints, and we invite you to participate. There are ribbons behind you and pens. You can put the names on them, and then at the end of the day we'll be ritually burning them to create glitter.
You may have heard of Bobby Campbell. He was an early AIDS activist. He refused to take on the shaming and the guilt that was directed at people with AIDS in the early days of the pandemic. And so he was also a sister. He was Sister Florence Nightmare, RN. And he was involved integrally in helping publish our Playfair pamphlet, which in 1982. And so here we are honoring Bobby's memory. His name is inscribed here today.
And we're also remembering Teddy Matthews, an early AIDS activist and transgressive person, amazing tap dancer, so we're honoring him today.
Over here, sister.
Oh, thank you. And over here we have Sylvester James. You may know him from the song Mighty Real. Sylvester is inscribed here in the Circle of Friends and also on the rock in the middle of the grove.
And a final name that we would like to highlight tonight is Harvey Milk, our first out gay elected official here in San Francisco. He was a supervisor for the Castro district. He lived his life out loud and out proud, and we like to honor his memory as sisters by taking vows to our community, to promulgate universal joy, and to expiate stigmatic guilt. We invite you, if there's a name that you recognize, to please take a flower and place it next to the name.
Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. Mary Oliver.
In this quiet grove, the leaves stir with the breath of memories, and the heart finds solace in nature's eternal embrace. Rainier Maria Romy.
And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always, irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses, restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed. They existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. Maya Angelou.
What a blessing it is to have this space that holds the spirits and memories of those we knew and loved. Why is it important to have this space? Why do we remember? What do you remember?
I remember the joy and laughter they brought into our lives.
I remember the late night phone calls.
Remember their love of costume jewelry, but always one rhinestone had to be missing.
I remember Act Up.
I remember the kindness.
I remember their Betty Boop collection.
And their terrible cooking.
I remember them running for supervisor.
Surrender Diane.
We remember them because they brought so much richness into our lives. They brought joy, happiness, and often other things. But we're better people because we connected to them, and they remind us in their passing that we are alive and that we still have work to do, and that we have relationships to cultivate.
And as we close out today's circle and our ritual, I invite you all to please take a stand. Grab the hands of those next to you. Grounded in this circle of friends, gather up the love, the strength, the hope, and the joy of their lives. Bring it with you as you move outwards into the world, ready to share their stories and your own as a blessing for us all. Thank you all for being here. My name is Sister Tainta Virgin.
Sister Mary Media.
Logan Berry Frost.
Sister Beatrix Upper Sleeve.
Sister Stella Believe in Magic.
Brother Synthetic Soul.
Sister Garden of Pansies.
Thank you again. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Because I know how. No, I'm sorry.
Dear Dad, you are a queen. You're an empress. You kept alive that precious pansy flower within me, the same one that wilted in you long ago. Let's kneel at the altar of Saint Elizabeth and dance around the living room in rumors. Palm Springs, WeHo, Laguna, Castro, journey to the gay ghetto. Read a book, you different drummer, and make your own kind of music. Mistakes, regrets, indulgences. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I didn't learn this part. Let's not ask for the moon. We have the stars.
Families pulled their kids out of school for fear of, quote, catching AIDS, end quote, from Ryan. Along with his mother, he rallied for his right to attend school and became the face of public education about the disease. So we're going to walk up to the hemophiliac circle and we're going to be enjoying a solo performance by Elbet, who you just saw play the cello, and they actually composed the music for the tour. we'll be going into the Circle of Peace up this way. The Circle of Peace is dedicated to all lives lost. It is intentionally left blank. There are no names engraved to remember all lives unmentioned. So it's intentional. There was no cure for AIDS at the beginning, since even scientists and medical workers didn't know what it was or how it spread. Steve, an HIV positive man who lost his partner Sergio early on in the pandemic, was too scared to get tested after Sergio died in 1993. He said, quote, "When he died, I believed that I was going to be next. If I were tested, my death sentence would be confirmed. Just hearing about HIV and AIDS terrified me," end quote. Like Olivia said in our intro, this space was created by people who needed a place to mourn and remember. We don't have graveyards in San Francisco. New burials have been banned here for decades, so there wasn't an established place where folks could go. The Grove became that place.